So you're taking a big math test and you get a question like this. Now, it may look complicated at first, but no worries, Mom. We're going to break it down as easy as chewing applesauce with no teeth. Let's dive in.
A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day was $836.50. How many salads were sold that day? How do you want to represent salads or drinks with what variables? We got S equals salads. We got D equals drinks. Now we're going to turn this into a equation. If you are a food truck person, what are you going to care? What does that word revenue mean? Pretty much how much money they make in a day. So on one hand of the equation, we're looking for the total amount of money. His revenue is based off of what equation? There's going to be two, but we'll start with one. The first is how many units he sells at a certain price. How do we represent that? What would be the right-hand side of this equation? And then how do we get the profit on that? We're adding them. What does it look like? Am I just adding S plus D, or do I have to add other things to that in order to get the revenue? What is the last piece that I have to add to it? So the total revenue, what side would that $836.50 be on? On the right-hand side? We know that his total revenue at the end of the day has to be $836.50. So 209 is the number of what? It's salads and drinks. So it's going to be, so on one hand, we have 209 total units is going to be my S plus D. How do I get the total profit though? This is fundamental making money. How do you get the total profit? And so if the salads, how would I write that out as a math equation? So 6.5 S, we're going to be adding up. You already multiplied.
Oh, so that 50 plus.
So the total revenue is going to be 6.5 S plus $2 times drinks. Now, are we given what this left-hand side is? We got the 209, that's the number of units. So you know 836.5 is going to equal 6.5 S plus 2D. This is also a systems of equations. What are we looking for? So we're particularly looking for the number of salads. Now we have two different options. Once you notice that it's a systems of equations, how do I know this is a systems of equations? Not because there's multiple variables. There's two equations right here. I could just have this and this would not be a systems of equations, but it would have multiple variables. It would have S and D. So I know because of what? That's a systems of equations, multiple equations. So what that allows you to do is if you wanted to, you could take this, plug it into the Desmos graphing calculator and see where the intersection point is. You just have to identify which variable would be your X and which one would be your Y. So instead of having S and D, you would convert this to X and Y. Wouldn't matter which as long as you were consistent. But we're going to go ahead and solve it the regular way, which is pretty much us looking at this equation. So there's an elimination method, which means that we're going to eliminate one of these variables. You still have 2D here. What I want to do is get the absolute value of the coefficient to be the same. So I'm going to want to turn this equation to having 2D. What would I have to multiply this equation by to get 2D? So I'm going to multiply this whole equation by 2. That's going to give me 418 equal to 2S plus 2D. Then what we can do is, if I were to eliminate these D's, they're both positive, they're both the same side. So would I be, in order to eliminate this, would I add or subtract these together to get 0? I would subtract my D's. So I'm going to subtract this equation from this equation. So 836.5 minus 418 should be 418.5. Now, 6.5 minus 2 is going to be what? 4.5 S. Our final step, how do we get S by itself now? And what happened to these D's? They canceled out. So we're going to divide both sides by the 4.5. And what do we get? So S equals 93. Boom. All right.
And so if that was helpful, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with one of your friends so that they know that you know what you're talking about. All right, that's it for today's problem breakdown. If you know anybody that you think could use this extra practice or is preparing for an ACT, SAT, or any type of high school math exam, go ahead and share this video with them. Hope that it helps. Peace.